So welcome to this fencing video. We are going to be building a fence from here all the way down to here. Oh, and then this way as well. So when first on the job is knowing where my end posts are. So I need to know where we're going to be down here, where we're going to be all the way up there, and then everywhere in between. You can go up to 2 meters maximum height on fences. That's what we're going to do here. This isn't the most secure, I could get through there pretty easy if I wanted to be fair. So you can see on the other side, customer's neighbours have built a brick wall. That's pretty solid. This fence, same idea. It's a physical boundary rather than a patchy hedge that we can get through. So that's the plan. Let's have a figure out, shall we? Let's work out what we're actually going to do. We're going to aim to put a post just here. And then we're going to do the same up that end. We're going to run a nice long straight line between the two, and then we're going to see if the pathway is maintained with the adequate spacing all the way along. If it's not, then we'll have to put a kink in the fence. We'll work all that out. I'll take you on that journey. So one of the first things we need to think about is exactly how this gate is going to finish, because if we bring our post too far out, then it's going to look awkward. It's going to look awkward. It's going to be awkward. The customer's not going to be able to get anything through here. So what I mean by that, if the fence starts there and the post starts there, the gate will only open that much, and that's no good. So clearly we need to be in there roughly where that mark is, pretty close to the concrete post. But we've then got to think about all of that. Do we really want to take all of that out? Does the customer really want to remove all of that? So we're going to run a post, 2 posts next to each other to bring it out a little bit into the footpath, and then to follow a track all the way along. So what we're going to do now is we're going to set some marks. We're going to get a mark down here, and we're going to get a mark all the way at the end. We're going to run a string line between, and then we can visually see where the fence is going to run and whether we need to make any adjustments. Customer will be involved at that stage. One of the things I love about this particular job is working on a public footpath. Obviously, I've got to be careful I don't leave trip hazards in the way and all that sort of stuff. So I'm very mindful of sort of health and safety responsibilities here. But it gives me opportunity to chat to people walking past, mostly dog walkers at this time of morning. One of the dogs that's just walked past was very snorty, shall we say. And I stopped to stroke the dog and had a nice chat with the owner for a bit. And I didn't really know what to say. Conversation sort of dried up, and I said, "Oh, that dog, that snorting, that reminds me of my wife." I said, "Oh, why did I say that?" Anyway, I mean, sometimes she does snore, but I probably shouldn't be going into that. If I've left this in and I haven't edited it out, then I'm a brave man. Sorry, Grace. Anyway, back to the job. So what we need to do, I've got a string line set out here all the way along. To me, it's looking pretty nice at the minute, apart from the very end bit. There's going to be a lot of hacking back of the customer's hedges. So I've got an idea about whether we maybe dogleg that out just a little bit and then come straight. That's what I would do, but it's the customer's fence, not mine. I'm here to install what they want. So it's really important that you understand that from a builder's perspective anyway. And I take great pride in making sure that the customers get what the customer has in their mind. Sometimes I go through AI images to help them visualize it in their space. Other times it's just sketch it out. Sometimes it's just have a good chat. Whatever it is, I need to try and understand what's in their mind. If this is your job, what you're doing, it's your own fault. You do what you like. But from my perspective, that's what I do. So because I don't particularly like the end bit as it stands, I want to chat to the customer now, give them just a walkthrough and make sure they've got an opinion on the end there. Because if I start hacking back their hedges and it becomes really bare at that end, I don't want it to come back on me. It's really important that they make the decisions along the way. So that's really my only contentious point at this moment in time. Let's sort that end out. Maybe dogleg if they want it, bring the fence out just a little bit and then come this way. As I say, that's their call. So I'll go and do that now. I'll go grab them out. We'll have a quick chat and we'll know where we stand. So that's another bit we'll chat about in a minute, but staying on just this corner theme, where are you at? We can always come out here a little bit. If you look visually down there, it changes the game a little bit in terms of how drastic we are up here.
Yeah, I'm thinking more in line with you now. You're probably having kind of a step change. That is quite drastic. Removal.
That's we're back to there. So it would be like that. Yeah. We'll go there.
That's the outer edge.
Yeah, very outer edge. That's the feather edge. All your posts will be inside all of this. I'm going to just mark that and then I'm going to drill it.
Okay.
Good. So like every wise man, he is off to grab his wife to come and have a look at this, and then they can make a joint decision on this area in particular. So yeah, well done, Steve. So there we go. Steve, the customer, and his wife have come out, they've had a look, and together they've made their mind up that we are going to step out so that we don't demolish this whole corner of the bushes to keep some of the established greenery in place. So we are going to step out a little bit and then we're going to go along. Another conversation I had with a customer just off camera was about the levels. This is all still in the planning phase. We're just getting our heads around every detail now that needs to be thought about. Talking about levels, so there is a slight break about halfway. Just here, it's literally halfway. The angle changes ever so slightly to that end. So we'd have the top of the fence following the contour of the tarmac, and then it would change angle at this point ever so slightly, but I think it would be noticeable. It would change angle to finish up down the other end. So you'd end up, not with a seesaw, that's a bit extreme, but you'd end up with it looking like a seesaw in the middle here. It's not quite the look that's we're going for really. So what I've agreed to do is quite a lot of extra work, to be fair, because now I've got to cut out a whole row of tarmac either side of where the gravel board's going to go. So probably 4 inches or so either side of this line, all the way along. And then that means we can get the gravel board to follow a nice consistent line from start to finish. So that's where that's going to go next, is going to get the big saw out, going to start doing some cutting, make some noise, make some dust. Got to keep a lookout for pedestrians walking around. Got to be mindful of that as much as I can. So yeah, let's make some noise, let's get some cuts done, and let's get prepared. Okay, so we've done a lot of the planning, a lot of the preparation. I've got someone working with me today who's continuing the preparation in the distance. But what I'm about to do is start getting on with the fencing really. I need to get this corner detail sorted. 2 posts going into this corner, one to take the edge of the gate. So I need to get that sort of marked out and in there. And then the other one is to start the edge of the whole run of fencing off. So we're going to have a short return coming out and then a big leg all the way down to the end there. Right, so as I mentioned, we need to get this post in that's going to take the edge of this gate. So this gate, I know where that lands, so that's nice and easy. That gives me my bottom point. I need to leave a little bit of space along the side here to make sure that the two don't rub together and make it impossible to open. So a little spacer in between that. But I know, as I say, I know where this is coming over to. It's opening to this point. So my post is determined by the size of the post. It's going in here. So I've marked on the floor roughly a little cut I need to make. The rest of it's just digging. So I'm going to get on with that and get some digging done. Okay, so here we are on these 2 posts. The one right next to the gate is dug, and then the next one that starts the long run is also dug. So we've got 2 posts, one there and one here. Slightly bigger hole, but that's fine. 600mm deep, 60 centimeters, so plenty of depth on it. And I am going to now trim the posts and get them into position. I'll show you how to do that next. What we're going to do on this one is measure from the bottom of the hole to the top of the gate, and then transfer that measurement over to the post to cut the post, and then bring it back, offer it in, make sure it's all exactly where we want it. Okay, so that's that post, pretty much in the right position. A little bit fiddling to do, but I'm pretty content with that. That's in the right place at the minute. It needs to come down just a few mil to allow for the capping rail to go on flush, but I'll sort that out. Next thing to do is measure this post. So to do that, I've got my handy assistant to run a spirit level across here from the top of post. So spirit level across and then measure down. So I've done that. I'll get that post in next. Okay, so a couple of things I'm thinking about here is just making sure that I've got enough width at the bottom, enough of a gap left for the gravel board to sink down underneath the tarmac to run all the way along. So I need to make sure there's about a 25mm gap below. I need to make sure that these posts here are roughly in a similar sort of position, not miles out at this stage, which we are. So that's good. I can start figuring that out. This one needs to come down a bit, so I need to drop it. Let's do that. Okay, so this hole is about 600 deep, so it's a really decent hole. What we're going to do is we just need to measure 2 meters from the surface to the post, and we need to make sure that we're not higher than 2 meters. So I'm just going to do that quickly. 2 meters is there. So that's 2 meters. So that's our limit. What we're going to do is measure down, and that's 70mm. And then I'm going to cut 70mm off the bottom. So by the time that comes back into the hole, that 70mm that's been taken off the bottom will allow this to sit then at 2 meters. Okay, so a few things you need to have by your side when you're ready to put a post in is some postcrete. So I've got a couple of bags of postcrete there and some water. So we've got plenty of water on standby. Before we get to that stage, we just want to make sure that this post is exactly where we want it, because when we start adding post mix, it's too late. So we want to make sure that this is in the right place. So some things going through my mind is I know there's going to be a gravel board going on the front face all the way down to that end. So I want to make sure that there's enough space left in the channel that we've dug. So that's the positioning is perfect for that. Then I need to make sure that the post is squared off to allow that straight run down there, but also to come this way to meet up with a post at this end as well. So I want to make sure that the post is in the right orientation for that. We've checked the 2 meters height, so we're happy there. Everything is looking good. I want to make sure that the levels, there's nothing pushing the level out of the way. It's not touching anything on any sides down at the bottom. Everything looks clear, so we're ready to start adding some post mix. So what we're doing here is we're putting some water into the hole, and we're getting ready to add some powder in. We're not filling the hole up all the way at the minute, we're just adding some water, adding some powder, mixing it up, adding some more water, adding some more powder, mixing it up, and repeating that really until we're at the right levels, leaving enough space for some tarmac to go in above. So here you can see us mixing the postcrete with a stick, just a bit of an offcut of wood, making sure that everything's nicely mixed in. Whilst that's happening, I'm maintaining the level of the post, making sure that in both orientations the post is level, whilst the post mix is starting to set and go off. Okay, so that's that post in, and what I've done now is run a string line all the way down. So the string line helps me know where the gravel board's going to go. The gravel board's 150 mil deep. I've set the string line to 140 mil above the ground so that it can go 10 mil below the tarmac. That gate has just got a slither of a gap between it so that I can get all my gate fixings on the other side to the new post to make sure that's all nice and secure. Height wise, that is ready to receive a capping rail, which will line up with this one nicely with the gate. So that's my corner set. Now I've got my end post at the other end set, and it's just everything in between now. So the next stage is I've marked out where all of my lovely posts are going to go next. That's all the way along. You can see, I don't need to keep pointing, do I? You can see the marks on the floor there. So that's all the way along. So that's the next step really, get the posts in. After that, we are going to need to do a little bit of trimming in some places. So progress is good. Still plenty of work to do, but we've done the big things, which is identify the end posts. And now, yeah, here we go. Next steps, digging posts in between, filling the gaps, trimming some hedging. This bit, we've done all the hard work in the planning and the preparing. Now it's a case of getting on with it really. Do the graft, make it happen. And this is what it's like. 1 minute the sun's out, next minute it's hailing on you. Lovely. Love working in March. Brilliant. Okay, so it's 2:30 in the afternoon. We're winding up towards the end of the day, another couple of hours left. But I just want to make sure that we can leave what we've done so far in a really nice way so the customer can see it, be a little bit inspired about the next part of the project and what's to come, and see what they're paying for at the end of the day, and make sure that they're happy. It's really important to me. So a little bit about what I'm doing now is looking at my angles. Again, I'm planning. I'm making sure that everything's going to work out. Still, the plan that I made earlier is still on track for winning today, hopefully. I guess we'll find that out as the video progresses. The fence works nicely alongside the gate, so I'm going to try and secure that before the end of the day, make sure that that is all happy to be left and secure for the customer. I've put a gravel board on very quickly, and now I'm just cutting the arris rails. So the plan is, because this sort of goes around a corner a little bit. It's a very slight corner, it's nothing too crazy. I'm cutting an angle on the Aris rails, so where they meet on this edge, they're not sort of interfering too much with each other. I've drawn a nice straight line all the way down, so I'm using that as my guide for my cuts, so that everything basically end up with a nice straight edge all the way down on the outside. So when you see the feather edge, it will return a corner and it will all look very nice indeed. Making sure that these things, Aris rails, are making sure that the Aris rails sit inside the notch very nicely and they line up flush on this edge. I don't want big gaps because you do see this bit. So I'm making sure that lines up nicely on this edge. This side is angled in, corresponding with the line that I've made for my straight edge all the way down. So I'm going to do 3 of them, and then it's ready really for the feather edge. This particular system, notched posts, feather edge boards, it's a really nice system. I love it. It comes with a rail that you put in the top and then the cap that goes over everything. It sort of stops the water soaking into the end grain of the feather edge boards. Anyway, it's a really nice system. I really like it, and I've used it from Country Supplies. I use them now. I have used other suppliers, but these guys are just great. Great communication, great materials, everything about it. Just really works for me. So I can recommend them. So that goes in, ×3, bish bash bosh, and then we feather edge. Then I'll secure the gate, and then we're about ready to sort of tools away for the day, really. Not a bad push. I've done loads of work down the other end. But yeah, that'll become apparent later on. So that's this end bound, and we're going to be filling in all of this tomorrow. Okay, so next step is to get a load of posts into the ground. The aim is to get one continuous line from start to finish without any ups and downs, lumps and bumps. Loads of bushes in the way, we've got all sorts that's making it difficult to work that out. What we do have is a nice bit of kit that helps me today, which is a big laser sight level. So I've got it over there. It's a rotating laser with a receiver on the end of this staff. And then the way I use that is I offer this up to the top of the post, and the receiver tells me whether to go up or down depending on what I need. So it tells me to go up, and then I'm level. So that matches with the top of the post. So this end, I know that I've got a reading for the top of the post. I take this down to there. I just need to match this until the laser tells me that I'm in the right area to go level. So it's telling me I need to go up. There we go. So that's level. Come up here, put a mark, as you can see, on the post. And I know now that I can measure between there and the top, and that's 840 mil, 84 centimeters. So I know that this post is 84 centimeters higher than the post down at that end. Well, that's all well and good, but how does that help? Well, what I need to do is divide that in half, and then divide the distance in half between here and that end as well. So I need to find the halfway point in the measurements, and then I know what half of this is, and then I put the two together. So halfway down here is that mark just there. So that's halfway down. Now I need half of the distance, the difference between that post. So half of that will be the height in which I put this post in. So hopefully that made some sort of sense to you. It makes sense to me. So I guess it might be easier if I just show you what we mean. So we're going to get on now. We're going to put all these posts in. We're going to get that middle post in, and then that will set a string line all the way down from across the top. That will help us know the top of the posts, that each of these posts that we're putting in will measure up to that string line, and which will help us with one continuous drop start to finish. So bit of a time lapse, see how it goes. Okay, so putting in the fence posts. Now we've got a string line across the top, which has given us a nice straight line end to end. So that keeps our level consistent all the way from post to post to post. So visually at the end of the job, you're going to be able to hopefully see one straight long slope rather than. We've got a string line at the bottom, helping us to know where the bottom of the posts need to line up. So what we need to do really is just match the two. We need to bring the post into a position where it touches the bottom string line at the same time as the top string line. That will help us to know the positioning of the post. Before we do that, we need to trim this post down. As you can see, string line is here, post finishes right up here. So I've moved it roughly into position so that the bottom string line and the top string line are touching almost at the same time. And then I'm going to mark where the string line is. So I've marked that now. And what we're going to do is lift the post out, measure the distance left at the top between the mark and the top of the post, trim it off the bottom of the post, and then bring this back into position, and then ready for next steps. Okay, so that's the post trimmed. Just going to put it back in its hopeful final resting place again. So I've got a level, I'm going to make sure it's level left to right. So I'm happy that that is level left to right. It's just underneath the line, which is ideal. And it's just touching that. It's just touching top and bottom line just at the same time. So everything is ready for securing in place. Lovely. So I'm happy that there's going to be no issues there. The next thing I need to do is install the arras rails. So the way I do it is I install arras rails across here before postcreting in. So I make sure all the levels are right, get the arras rails nailed in, and then the post hold itself in the place that I want it. So it's much easier, especially if you're doing it on your own, it's much easier to do it this way, and then the post doesn't flop around whilst you're trying to postcrete. So you've seen me put the posts in, you've seen me put the arras rails in, and it's just copy and paste that really. Just keep doing that all the way along, making sure you stay true to your string lines, top and bottom, for your levels, and just keep doing that all the way along. And that's where we've ended up to today. Obviously a bit of trimming left on some bushes, but oh, it is lovely, always lovely. All the way down, nice and beautiful. The tops, nice and level, consistent level changes all the way up. Yeah, pretty chuffed really. Looks nice. Okay, so next we're looking at gravel boards, which just sits along the whole bottom of the posts. That allows for the feather edge boards to sit down on top of it, provides a nice neat detail, but it also stops any sort of gravel essentially, or rubbish or whatever you've got from one side and transferring to the other side. So this is a nice wooden board that goes all the way across the bottom. You can do all of this stuff in concrete. This is wood, and it's quite easy to replace. You can peel it off, and you can put some more on. So cost effective. It's a good price. It's not too expensive, and you can replace it. So we really like the system. But just very quickly, installing the gravel boards. It's as easy as measure it, cut it, and nail it on. So you just want to make sure your levels are right. So you're allowing for enough of the feather edge board to hit the top of the post. So I've marked where I want the gravel boards to sit, the top point of all the gravel boards, all the way along. So all I need to do now is measure to the middle of the post to where I need the cut. That's 800 mil. And then I'm going to get that cut, offer it up, pin it in, and then carry on all the way along the flank. So as you can see, we've started doing the feather edge boarding. Start to look really nice. This is where the project really comes to life. Customer starts to see what they've paid for. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Before we talk about the feather edge boarding, we'll talk about these stumps, because these stumps are important in these sections. 3 metre long bays, and there's a tendency for a bit of sag in the middle here. So what we do is we put these supports in. That supports the bottom arras rail, and then in turn it transfers the support up and creates like a middle post, if you like. So what we need to do is just install that. I've got really hard ground the other side, so I'm okay here. But if you've got soil or whatever, then you need to dig down. You need to bed these on some hard ground, really. So you've got to create that yourself with a bit of postcrete or whatever you can. So it's just a case of cutting this so that the angle on this matches the back angle of the arras rail, and then it gets pinned in, nailed in to the arras rail and also the gravel board. It brings it nice and neat, nice and tight together. As I say, it doubles up as support for the post in the middle, and it also makes sure that the gravel board doesn't curve in and bend too much, and all these, the bottom of the post, bottom of the feather edge boards end up not sitting on it properly, and it looks a bit funny. So this is quite an important step. Make sure you get this one in. So I'm just going to do that quickly and then show you how to do the feather edge. Great, so that's really tight now. I had to lift the arras rail up just a little bit to make sure that it's all supported, so I know that's a really tight junction there. So we're going to nail that in. Definitely ear protectors on a job like this, or else you go home at the end of the day, can't hear the kids. No, that is a bad thing, yeah. Okay, so that's that done. Next, feather edge. So let's get the feather edge boarding installed. Before you do anything here, it's all preparation again. So you want to make sure that you get your feather edge lined out, and you've got a profile to help you do this job, which I'll show you. So I've got some feather edge boards there ready to go. Two things that you need to do. You need a jig. So we've made a jig on this one with a bit of batten and a bit of feather edge board, because these all need to overlap. So every time you put a new board on, it's got to overlap the previous one by about 30 mil, something like that. You need to make sure there's a good overlap, and you need to make sure that it's vertical. Otherwise you end up going all sort of wonky with your feather edge boards. So this one has been made, you can make up any sort of profile to help you with the spacing. So basically it goes against this edge, creates a measurement so that you can offer your new board straight up to it, nail it in and keep going as quick as possible. So on this occasion, that offers up against the previous board, leaves us a nice continuous gap on that board all the way down, and then we literally just offer up our next bit of feather edge, sit it on the gravel board at the bottom, line it up with our profile and nail it in. So I'm going to do that. When I'm doing that, some of my considerations for the nails are making sure that I hit the middle line of this arris rail. That's where it's at its deepest. If I hit the edge of this arris rail, then I'm going to have loads of nails sticking through from behind. And although on this occasion we've got a big hedgerow here and no one's going to come, it's not really a good thing to do, because if you leave loads of nails there on a customer's fence, there's a lot of potential for injury. So make sure that you hit the middle of the arris rails when you're pinning in the feather edge boards. The other thing I do at the end of the job when I'm packing up is I go along behind, usually, I can't do it on this occasion, but I usually go along behind with an angle grinder. Any nails that have taken a funny angle, I cut them off flush so that get rid of any hazards. Anyway, I'm going to do this for a bit, and then I'm not going to show you 30 meters, don't worry. I'll just show you a few boards so you can see how that works. And then I'm just going to get on with it because we've got quite a lot to do. At this stage, you do want to put spirit level. I mean, that's absolutely bang on, which is great. But every now and again, you do find it's a natural product. They're not all perfectly straight all the time. It's part of the charm, but it's also part of the difficulty when it comes to installing. So you do just want to make sure every now and again that the angles aren't creeping off on you and it's still vertical. As I say, we're bang on there. So it's time to press on. So there we are, 30 meters of fencing in about 3 days. It's looking great, nice and straight and level. I'll take you for a closer look. So here it is. There we are. Bosh, look at that, lovely. So really nice fence, this one. Capping rail has got on, finishes it off nicely all the way along. As I say, near enough 35 meters worth of fencing. All lovely. So like I said towards the start of the video, it's all about planning. You need to plan. You've got to plan it, you've got to prepare it, and then it's not easy, but the easier part is just doing it, to be fair. There are some details in this one that if I didn't plan properly or prepare it, the end result would have looked pretty poor. So experience counts, but also giving it a go and learning counts. So good luck to you, if that's you, if you're going to give it a go. Watch some videos, hopefully watch this video, watch other videos, try and get some experience that way and just give it a go. If you're going to get someone in to do it, expect quality, don't put up with anything less.